What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bryce, Chris Tipmore, A1 Forever, doing something a little different for y'all. As we are recapping Monday Night Raw tonight. We are both fans of the game of wrestling. You know, I've been following it for a long time. Chris, you said you've been getting back more into it as of recently.
I've been trying, man. Been trying my best. You know, so I like to call myself the casual part-timer. You know, in wrestling, you know, you have the casuals, you have the part-timers and stuff like that. So I'm getting back into it, but I'm trying to get into the swing. I got the spirit. I got my New World Order shirt on. You know, I'm trying to get into the whole spirit and everything. But yeah, man, wrestling has been interesting. I know me and Bryce, we've been talking behind the scenes. I've been talking behind the scenes with other guys as well. And me and Bryce was like, man, we're gonna throw it out here, man. See how the people like it, and so just go from there. But hey, we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're gonna see how it goes for sure. And so for everybody tuning in, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Give us a shot if you're new to any of our channels. If you're watching this on any platform, hopefully you enjoy it and stuff like that. But obviously tonight, Monday Night Raw was the go-home show for them before Saudi Arabia Night of Champions, as that looks like that event will still move forward. And so we got our King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring final matchup set. We had a match removed from the card. We had 2 matches added to the card. So a lot definitely happened in the go-home show tonight to set up Saturday. And we're going to talk about it all right here.
Yes, sir. Hey, man.
So.
Hey, man, I can't wait, man. I'm actually excited about this, man. So, I mean, should we start from the beginning?
Man, we'll start from the beginning, man. Seth Rollins starts the show, obviously flanked by Braun Breaker, Winston Reed, Paul Heyman. It's hilarious. I was looking at some people talking during his promo, and it was like, that boy Seth was yapping. They said Seth was yapping. Very long promo, essentially pretty much the same thing. We're going to run this. We took out LA Knight. We took out Roman Reigns. We took out CM Punk.
Yeah.
Mess with us. We're going to deal with you. Everything under the sun. Obviously, if you noticed, when everybody came out, usually the group likes to come out in suits. Braun Breaker was not in a suit, which we found out during that promo. He was going to go one-on-one with Penta right after that promo, which let's get into the match. What you think about the match, Chris? What do you think about Penta versus Braun Breaker?
Well, coming into the whole Seth Rollins thing, well, yeah, I agree. You know, it's a long promo, but you think about it with the promo, they're trying to get Seth to go ahead and ease into that heel role because that's what he's supposed to be, even though like people are still trying to treat him as the baby face. So I think that's another reason why that promo was kind of like for us, we've seen that movie before, but it's just like, okay, we got to get him as the heel. So let's go ahead and best way to do it, turn against the fans. I don't care what you think. All that good stuff like that. So, good PR, whatnot, but it rolled right into the match. Braun Breaker versus Penta. Penta's a good athlete, man. I didn't know a whole lot about Penta, but I did go back, watch some footage, and I ain't gonna lie, man, him and Ray Felix, good gracious, them boys can get to it. And I like that, and I don't really know why they're not using them in the WWE together. Like I've seen them, but maybe there's something down the pipeline. We'll never know. But yeah, I like Penta as an athlete. He has some pretty good moves. I like the whole Mexican Destroyer. I feel like that is pretty much a salute to Mr. Petey Williams from the Canadian Destroyer. That's the first guy that I see did that move as effortless as I see Penta do it now. And so shout out to Petey Williams, you know what I'm saying? With that whole thing, I forgot what's the name of the group that they had back in TNA, but still shout out to him. And I like the Mexican Destroyer. I like Penta, but of course, Braun Breaker. I love me some Braun Breaker, man. Of course, the son of Rick Steiner and everything. So that's cool as well, man. He got that pedigree. And can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does Braun Breaker have the best spear in the game or what?
In the business right now, I would have to say, yeah. I have to say it's the most devastating looking spear because, so many people use that move, but some people just know how to just do it in a way that makes it look like it's devastating, look like it's very impactful. Obviously, Goldberg was one of the guys who a lot of people would say probably had the greatest spear ever. I know a lot of people like Edge spear at times. It just depends on who you are, but Braun spear is one of the best currently in the game right now.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that just goes along with his character. They try to make him look like a dominating character. And I mean, listen, freakishly athletic guy. You see how quickly he can move. And, you saw it on display tonight. We saw the athleticism, hitting that flying knee when Penta was on the top rope tonight.
Yes.
Obviously, the Frankensteiner, when he jumps up there, salute. You know what I'm saying? and then, obviously, and I think the match was well paced. Obviously, just trying to showcase both guys. Braun kicking out of the Mexican Destroyer. And helping him look strong, taking a finisher, kicking out, because obviously everybody knows there's big plans for Braun Breaker in the future. Of course. I think they did what they needed to do tonight, and obviously the ending of the match, Penta coming off the ropes. Come on, that's why it's one of the best.
She rode.
That's why it's one of the best spears in the business, man. And so, Braun picked up that win. Obviously, this is just furthering, what's happening there between Penta and a bunch of other guys, and then Seth Rollins' faction as well. But yeah, overall, like I said, it was a really solid match. Good opening, solid promo start, then getting into the match, solid match to go into that.
Yes.
And I think you're going to see continuously down the line more people are going to be trying to protect, or the WWE is going to try to protect Braun, and they're going to always do what they can to make him basically look strong all the time.
Right.
So I feel like that, for the most part, they're continuing that on a week-to-week basis, and I think they've been doing a good job of that so far.
I agree. I definitely agree. Braun Breaker is going to definitely be a big star. And of course, they're bringing him along. I believe that him being in this whole group with him and shout out, to Bronson Reed, I think it'll be good for him as well. Because I did wonder what they were going to do with Bronson, but I know he did get injured. But I was wondering when he came back, what's he going to be a part of? And then he comes with Seth Rollins. I think it's perfect. Seth Rollins got his own Braun team over there, and we'll see how that goes. But I love it, man. I wonder if they're going to add, legitimately add another person to it, and who could that person be? But I know that's coming down the line, maybe. But I like the whole thing that they have going on there. Think it was a great idea, especially to add Braun, because it makes Seth look like more of a visionary, as he likes to call himself, because he sees exactly the potential in Braun Breaker. So instead of fighting against him, no, I'm going to bring him in under the wing, and I'm going to let him be, pretty much my monster now, because I know exactly what he can do. And then, of course, Braun Breaker, that's just a no-brainer. Again, he's going to be a star. And then, but the icing on the cake and the cherry on the top, as some people would like to say, is of course Paul Heyman, the wise man. This guy, when he puts his hands on some talent, even though he may backstab it later on, he at least helps you he at least elevates your game. And at the end of the day, this whole 4-man tandem right now is a great thing for WWE, and I really like it. Really like it.
I mean, it's as you said, because I think I've seen some people say they don't know how they feel about the pairing of Seth and Heyman. Some people have been kind of I just don't know if it's working for me. No, especially because of the guys he's been with. He's different, than the guys he's been with. And so I know that's kind of made people iffy, just from what I've seen, people just talking about the group in general. But, I mean, some names that were mentioned, I know there's a report earlier last week, some of the names they were mentioning, because they were discussing potentially adding another member. They were thinking about maybe going into the NXT ranks, maybe adding an Ethan Page or a Ricky Starks to the group. They have been discussed. Now, that doesn't mean they're the only two, but they've been discussed, which I think either one could actually probably do good in that group. But also could mean NXT could be planning for some call-ups in the in the near future. So that'll be something to keep an eye on for sure when it comes to that faction and how they continue to move forward from that. So after that, we get into everybody's favorite main event, Saturday's main event coming up, Goldberg Goldberg
next.
had a sit down promo with Michael Cole, just a brief little pre-tape interview. Goldberg talking about why he's doing this. He disrespected his family in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He wants to finish it in Atlanta, his adopted home. He said then he was embarrassed. He didn't want to let it stand, and he had to challenge Gunther. Right. And obviously Michael Cole said after that, he asked Goldberg, was this a retirement match? He said yes.
He did say that.
Unless they put the belt on him. Then he said, we'll see. Now, I think you and me, and I think a lot of people watching this, know that ain't happening.
I don't
this
think
will be the Goldberg retirement match. They're trying to give him, and I get it. Goldberg wants to end on his WWE career, wrestling career on a better note. So I completely understand.
Then that match with him and Undertaker. My goodness,
it was effective though. I will say that it was effective. I think it was short, sweet, effective.
Yeah. So, I feel what you're saying. I know a lot of people are talking about the botches in that match, like, and how Goldberg almost broke Undertaker's neck, and honestly, it just was a lot. But honestly, sitting here in the backstory, I think Goldberg had a concussion. So really,
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But old Goldberg, man, one last hoorah for Goldberg, I believe, because I don't think they take the belt off of Gunther. I think honestly, for a retirement match to face the champion of the caliber of Gunther, I think it's a perfect way for Goldberg to go out, because why put the belt on him? I know I've seen images of people having him versus John Cena. Moving forward. And while maybe 10 years ago I'd have been down for that, but I'm not down for that now. It's just not. I don't. That's not a dream match for me. Goldberg versus John Cena. That's just me personally. I think it's time for Goldberg to ride off in the sunset. But I do think they're going to make it a good match. I don't know how long it'll be, but I do think they'll make it a good enough match to where both of them can, get their shine on, and then Gunther just maybe put some to sleep or something like that. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, it probably won't be a long match. I hope it's not a long match. But yeah, I mean, they're just trying to give him his comeuppance and trying to give him a last match and kind of finish that feud out. So I feel like from that perspective, it is what it is. But we'll get to Gunther's rebuttal later, because he had a solid promo from that rebuttal. So
we'll get into it.
But we're gonna go down to the next match: Queen of the Ring semifinal, Jade Cargill versus Roxanne Perez. Obviously, this is to officially meet Asuka in the finals of the Queen of the Ring side of things in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, a match with two up-and-coming women, Roxanne Perez, someone who has been put in a big spotlight, Royal Rumble spotlight. I think she was in the Chamber. She has had some big moments and opportunities. A lot of people.
Was she in Money in the Bank as well too?
Yes, exactly. And I think she's the youngest person on the roster. So she's doing this at a very young age. Clearly, WWE sees big things for Roxanne Perez. They also see big things for Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill's been a bit of a project. She's been working on her wrestling skills, working on the mat, still just trying to get to that point, right? But you could see how WWE views her. They view her as a star. They view her as a big name, a big attraction. She does have a fan base. People do enjoy Jade Cargill. So this match tonight, what'd you think about the match between the two girls tonight?
Well, the two girls, first of all, like you just said, man, those are two talented girls right there in their own way. Two totally different styles. Of course, Jade Cargill is the powerhouse. And of course, I believe that they're going to go somewhere with that, because I'm going to get into something else about her in a minute. But to the match, I feel like it was a good match. Of course, Jade, they had the whole thing with the knee. I feel like that was cool with how they had Roxanne, kind of like try to chop her down a little bit, because of course she is the powerhouse. So they had to, I feel like the ladies put on a great match. And honestly, I feel like the ending happened the way it should have. I do believe that Jade should have won this match, because Roxanne is so young and she has such a promising future ahead of her, just coming in, like you said, from NXT, being one of the youngest and being one of Booker T's pupils. It's just like she has a lot going for herself. She didn't need this match right now. But Jade, on the other hand, somebody who is viewed like a star, like you said, she needed to have that match. She needed to continue to progress through this tournament. and now she's in the finals. Regardless of what happened, she made it to the finals of the Queen of the Ring, and she needs that at least on her resume. Now, will she beat the Empress of Tomorrow? I don't know, man, because I ain't gonna lie, Asuka's been hot, and and of course, she was already a great athlete anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, and already a great champion, et cetera, et cetera. So, coming back in hot like she is, I feel like it's a good look. So people don't forget about her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think some people did forget about Asuka, not intentionally, but of course, out of sight, out of mind type thing. It's almost the same thing with for Alexa Bliss. I think she was gone for like 2 years. So, and then but you seen the crazy pop that she got when she came back. Everybody really, it was like, oh yeah, Alexa Bliss. So it's just, and I think it was the same thing with Asuka. And again, great match by the two ladies. Can't wait to see what happens in the finals versus Asuka and Jade Cargill, man. But I wanted to ask about the return of Asuka. How do you feel about it?
I mean, listen, I think people know Asuka came in during the Vince McMahon era of things, and coming from NXT, Black and Gold era, legendary era. She was a undefeated. She was a main eventer. She was the top dog. And then Vince, Vince is Vince. He see a person can't speak English, and then just got her lose her undefeated streak to Charlotte Flair, and then it just ever since then she's always been in limbo. She's won another world title after that. Like, she's always been like an upper mid card woman for them who they could put into the main event. And I think during this time where she's been out with this injury, this is giving kind of the first time for, I think, with Triple H, I feel like, where he could be like, we can kind of reset things. Because before, they had her a lot in tag teams, the Kabuki Warriors, things like that, damage control, things of that nature. So they've kind of been having her with people, but I think this is them kind of looking at this as an opportunity to revigorate her, obviously we know who she is. So they're not introducing her, but almost in a way trying to get back to her roots, get back to what made Asuka Asuka. And I think it's also helped they've had success with international stars, Japanese stars like Io Sky, who is the world champion. That has helped. Obviously, they're planning to push Julia on SmackDown. So I think that they're just also making a renewed push to really push Japanese stars, overseas stars, international stars in the company, and try to, really hit those markets. But also, we know Asuka can go. Asuka can go. She can put on banger matches. She's a really good wrestler. So I think that this is just their way of getting her in a good position to kind of do that again. And I think, with Jade winning tonight, the thing about Jade is that sometimes her matches can be a little clanky, just because,
yeah, I understand.
What I'm saying? But like at the same, but it's not a shot at her. That's just, but I know she's working. So it's not one of those things.
Of course. And honestly, I believe current day, she's better definitely in the ring and on the mic than she was when she first came. I think that's fair.
I mean, I remember her at AEW when I was watching her there. Like, so for her, just continuing on, I'm interested to see how those styles mesh together. That is something I'm very curious about. Asuka is always interesting when you talk about wrestlers that come from Japan, because they wrestle in that more aggressive, strong style. So when they come to WWE, they got to kind of scale it back a little bit, but still kind of give them that uniqueness that makes them them. Where Jade is obviously, she's going to be the powerhouse of the match, the strength, and then so they're going to probably play that. But it's not like Asuka's like Roxanne, where she's pretty much every match is going to be the little engine who could. Asuka is an established star. She's an established woman. We know she can wrestle with the best of them. So I'm curious to see how those styles mesh together. But I think that really, I think this out of the two is the most unpredictable finals matches, because you could make an argument either woman should win the match. You can make an argument. Asuka's coming back, boom. Jade, you can push her to the next level, but it just depends.
It's all like you said, it all depends on what they envision. I mean, Asuka coming back winning the Queen of the Ring. I mean, it'll be a bit. Honestly, when you think about it, Bryce, both competitors, feeding into your point, both competitors kind of really need this match. You think about it, Asuka and everything that she's been through. Yes, she's been a world champion, but she's coming back. And she's coming back into her own. Like, this is Asuka really on her own. No Kabuki Warriors, no fractions, none of that stuff. This is just solely Asuka. So it's like it would be a great pop for her and for her career moving forward as a singles wrestler. But it also, you can make that same argument for Jade. Of course, she had the whole thing with Naomi and Bianca. She had that whole thing, but now this is Jade on her own, going after things for her own self, and trying to be that queen and adjust her crown on the way up and everything, like she was saying. Great promo, by the way, that night. And I believe, like I said, she's getting better. She's gotten better. And it's like you said, it's going to be unpredictable. If I had to choose a winner, but I know that's kind of early already, but if I had to choose, I probably would go with Asuka. But if Jade wins, I'm not mad too.
Yep, I agree. I think either girl could definitely win the match, and I'd be interested to see who they want to go with in that situation. So obviously, at the end of that match, those two girls had a stare down. At the end of the match, Asuka came out when Jade went up the ramp.
Yeah, I'm so glad they did that, because I was like, okay, give me Asuka. And then Jade was going up. I was like, y'all not gonna give me Asuka? And then the music played. I said, that's what I'm talking about. WWE, give the fans what they want. Storytelling right there. And she come out with her mask, pull it on off, with her doing her little thing. I love it, man. I ain't gonna lie. I've been an Asuka fan since I laid eyes on her. So
yeah, man. Asuka, man. There's a reason why, man. People loved her, man. Great character, so much charisma. And really, just like I said, she's gonna be. She's a legend, really, in Japan, and the way she's headed. I mean, her accomplishments. She's going to become a legend, I think, become in the WWE as well. So really big stuff from them. Really excited to see what those girls can do on Saturday. But now we got to move on as we go on to the next part of the show. So this is where Gunther responds to Goldberg. And like I said, hit the ring. And listen, I like this promo tonight. I like Gunther's response. I did. Fired up. And listen, it's just that realism. Listen, you're 58.
Like, man, I'm in the prime of my life right now. I am the champion. You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to come after me. Like, I'm not. And I like, ever since they've put the world title on him, and since he lost, they've tried to make Gunther come off more vicious, more aggressive. Because I think that's one criticism that people had with him at the end last few months of his title reign, is that WWE was kind of making him look kind of soft. It's just not the Gunther that you fell in love with,
right?
Or that you said, like, okay, that's the real deal right there.
Yeah.
And I think they've tried to reinvigorate Gunther in that way, and I think that's something that they're hoping, because at the end of the day, we know Goldberg isn't what he is, but at the same time, saying you beat Goldberg could still be looked at as a big deal,
right? So saying you retired Goldberg is a huge merit.
Exactly. What you think about the promo?
Man, excellent promo. I ain't gonna lie to you. Gunther, this was the ring general tonight. You know what I'm saying? In that promo. Like, seriously, that fire. He's sounding very sure of himself, sounding like, yes, I am the best in the world. I am the champion. So I understand who you were. Like you said, like, I'm apologizing to your family. So right now, for what I do to the man who used to be Goldberg. This is not 1999. This is 2025, and this is my reign. I'm not for to let you come in here, old man, and have your last, ride off in the sunset on me. No, sir. You're going to get the ring general. And when I come in, I'm coming to end your career. I'm coming to bury Goldberg. I absolutely love the promo. Love the confidence on Gunther. And he's grown on the mic over time. He's gotten better all around in shape. He got in shape because he knew he was going to be on TV more. So shout out to him for that. Shout out to him for being a champion for most of his time in the company.
Yep.
So, so that's impressive as well. Now, of course, I know, I know it gets written like that. I know I'm not tripping. But at the same time, Gunther is worth all that. He is, like, at first, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of judged the book before I really read the book. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like Gunther at first. But as it went on and I started really paying attention to Gunther is a great athlete. Gunther's a champion. And I understand why they continue to, like, try to push him. He deserves that push. So great promo tonight. Shoot, man, I'm just ready for the match now, honestly, with those two.
Yeah, and I think too, when you mentioned, like, I didn't like him at first, Gunther is just he is more of a throwback wrestler.
Yeah,
I think that's why a lot of throwback wrestlers like him, because he's not. He doesn't have this finishing, like his finishing moves, a power bomb, chops, power bombs, like it's
Sleeper
nothing
hole.
special. It's just a wrestler. His gimmick is I am the best wrestler. I'm better than you. I'm tougher than you, and it works. But and one thing that came out of that promo that I want to mention,
Go ahead.
fans were cheering when he talked about taking down
You're
Goldberg.
right.
And so obviously that's always interesting because again, fans are becoming smarter. They're starting to be like, listen, I don't even want Goldberg in this position, so I'm going to cheer this man. So that's just a little tidbit to also take out of that promo. They were kind of cheering him by the end.
Personally, would you want to see Goldberg as champion though?
At this point, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
No. What is he gonna give me?
I love Bill.
You know what?
I love Bill, but I can't.
I respect Bill. I ain't gonna disrespect like that.
But I love Bill Goldberg, man. I do. It's just one of those things to where it's just you can't do that. And because I honestly really feel like when guys lose to Goldberg the way that they do, I honestly feel like it has always hurt them. You know what I'm saying? Now, the only guy that maybe it didn't was Brock, because Brock, come on, and Brock is Brock. But you know what I'm saying?
Because he got it back the next month.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. But I don't think that same thing can work for Gunther, even though Gunther has a name. I just feel like it would hurt Gunther to have him lose to his title that he just got back from Jey Uso. And it's just like, dang, you lose it to Goldberg just over the whole aura of Goldberg. And it's just like, where are you going with this with Goldberg being the champion? You know? It's just like, then if Goldberg wins the title, I automatically assume that he's going to face John Cena next. Just because. But it's just like, is it champion versus champion? Or is it title versus title? Like, I mean, what would you have? So it's just like, again, that's another mess. Let's not even go down that route. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and just, let the ring general be the ring general.
Like I said, I think they just need to have that be a simple 1, 2, 3. You might let him get a spear and a jackhammer just because, and then you have Gunther finish it off. No, it should really be no longer than 5 minutes. Honestly, it should not be something that goes on a little bit. And we can get this wrap up. We can send him on his way. Thank you, Goldberg. Appreciate everything you've done for us.
I think in total it should be no more than a 10-minute whole block, because you're gonna have Gunther, Gunther and Goldberg have the match, right? Then after the match, you want to give the fans their chance to pay their respects. Maybe it's going to be in Atlanta. Come on now. So it's just like, you got to let him give his salutes, his everybody's standing up, giving a round of applause, him leaving the gloves in the ring, whatever he wants to do, all that stuff like that. Give him that opportunity, to get that long walk off and all that stuff like that. I feel like that'll be perfect. That'll be beautiful for Goldberg. About a good 10-minute block to where he can just really just get his flowers and all that stuff would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
But we did have another technically kind of like a promo, little backstage, little scuffle, that happened, technically. Mr. Sami Zayn and Mr. Karrion Kross, man, who a lot of people have been calling for months. I've been seeing it on Twitter. I've been seeing it on Facebook. Anything that has to do with social media, fans have been calling for Karrion Kross, and shoot, they're finally going to get him. In this whole promo, him and Sami Zayn. He's been in Sammy's ear for a few weeks now, irritating him and everything. So, what do you think about this?
He basically has a gaslight character.
Yeah,
he gaslights every superstar he talks to.
Everybody.
Listen, I think Killian. I remember Killian also Black and Gold era. And I think people, again, you have that memory of what he was, and you like, man, why can't he get back to that? And I think with the promo work and the things that he can do, I know a lot of people cheer for him. Even now, even when he's wrestling on main event, they cheer for him loudly. Obviously, they've been building this for a while, so it makes sense to go ahead with Sami losing, to go ahead and make this match official. I believe it's going to be at Night of Champions. So they're going to go ahead and do that on the card. Karrion Kross's contract's up in a few months. As far as I know, reports say that there's nothing imminent in terms of him resigning. So we'll see if this is like a last little run for him, or if, maybe he does get a deal. I know some people talk about his wrestling isn't always the best. he hasn't wrestled on TV in a while. I
Yeah,
mean, last time I remember wrestling was at, I think, WrestleMania when Bobby Lashley was still in the company. So I'm sure he might have wrestled one time outside of that, but it just shows you how they haven't used him in that way. But yeah, they did go ahead and make that match official and move forward with that. And also before that, we learned that Dominic Mysterio will not be defending the title on the card. That they're saying it's injury. Some people wonder if that's just said I'm not going to Saudi Arabia, and they just said okay.
Right. Saying
so they did a little segment with AJ in the back talking to Adam Pearce about it and just saying, don't worry, he's hurt. We're going to postpone the match. So they're going to obviously so they took a match off and they added a match on the card with Sammy and Killian Cross. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up going for sure. But we'll go ahead.
I said we'll see. We'll see, man. Like, at the end of the day, like you see it at the end too with Kieran, like, oh yeah, we got him. So he's playing.
Everything is according to plan.
Yes. Like a little. Yeah, I feel like if he had a mustache, he'd have been twisting it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That is basically the devil on every superstar's shoulder. He's like, I want you to turn heel, become evil. So we'll see. We'll see where they take that story, how that ends up going. But let's get to the next match,
right?
Huh?
No, I said we're moving on to a championship match next, right?
Yep, the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Bayley obviously making her return 2 weeks ago, dropping the promo last week to get the match this week against Becky Lynch. They kind of have this 3-woman thing going. Lyra Valkyria lost the belt. Is that Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I was like, wait, where did she leave the belt? Okay, whatever the last other pay-per-view was, she lost the belt, right? Lyra obviously thinking, okay, I gotta get my rematch. Bayley comes back, attacks Becky. Lyra looks confused.
Yeah.
Okay. You find out, apparently the next week, Bayley drops a promo going after Becky. Becky comes out there. They have a promo battle, which I thought was a really good segment, which set up the match for this week. Lyra talks to Bayley after and just was like, what's going on? She never responded to any of her texts and calls and things like that. And so there's kind of been this weird energy. I was asking after that next week, are they thinking about turning Lyra at all? Is this some groundwork for that? And now you went to this week's match and, they had a little promo before the match again, very, almost like, hey, my fault. And Bayley was kind of hostile at first. And it was just, it's interesting what they're doing with everything. What do you think about just how they're doing this with the girls? And then what you think about the match?
Man, it's interesting, bro, because like you said, they have this whole 3-way going on. And it's just like, and for me, as me looking at it, I'm like, Lyra, like, why are you even involved in this? Like, what are you doing? Like, it seems like you're trying to sabotage almost in a way. So it's just like, I understand what you're saying about that. And as for the match, though, I mean, the match was good. You got 2 future Hall of Famers going at it for the IC belt and going for the IC strap, man. And good match between the 2 of them. They know each other very well, and they made that obvious in the match, saying with the reversals, doing different things like that. The girls put on an excellent show. But of course, like I said, they're 2 world-class athletes, 2 former champions. Know what they're doing in the ring, of course. So we knew that it was going to be a high caliber match, and that's what they gave. The ending, I did not like the ending. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did not like the ending, but I understand the ending because it's like you lost, but you didn't lose, Bayley. You know what I'm saying? And Becky, so you get this ongoing thing too. So I know Bayley is going to be looking for another opportunity, but it's also like, here come Lyra. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Whoop. And then I was just wondering, like when they were standing there talking, I was like, could they make Bayley hit her right now? But they didn't. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. I just feel like if she keeps poking around, eventually Bayley is going to possibly. It's going to be Bayley versus Lyra, possibly for an opportunity against Becky. So I could see something like that coming down the pipeline. But again, great match by 2 world-class professionals. Like I said, didn't like the ending, but understood it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know what they're doing. Obviously, it's like now they're kind of telling that story of, there's some dissension between Bayley and Lyra. It's interesting because it seems like that could be what's next, where they kind of like they have to face each other. And like I said, I don't know if any heel turns are planned. I don't think you're turning Bayley here. I think it would be Lyra, but also I'm asking, is it too early to turn her? I mean, I feel like for what she did as Intercontinental Championship, I think she did good. I think, I think the crowd has gotten more into her over the last few months. I obviously, if you know me personally, that is also one of my wrestling bays, and Lyra Valkyria. So, it's one of those things where, I'm curious to kind of see where they're trying to go with it.
Right.
I gotta see it flesh out more over the next few weeks, just to see if I like the direction. But because it seems like that's what the Women's Intercontinental Championship picture is right now. It's just those three girls,
right?
Three, and we'll kind of see where that ends up and how they continue to drag it out. Obviously, they're not going to be on Saudis, so we may know something. Maybe a triple threat at SummerSlam.
Maybe
a triple threat match at SummerSlam between those three girls. And kind of see where that goes from there.
You know what, Bryce? You may be right, because think about it like this, just like how I said, it could have been like a picture Bayley versus Valkyria, right? And then let's say Becky comes out there, interferes, and knock them both out with the title, some mess like that. Here comes the GM. Oh, you want to do that? Blah, blah, blah. Triple threat match. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It could play into a story just like that, and then you have a better match because you have all three of them who are world-class athletes, and I think all three girls would put on an excellent show. So, yes, that's a great point, bro, about a possible three-way between the girls. That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, all those girls can go in the ring. So a match with them, I'm not worried about if we're going to get a good one. I think we're going to get a really solid match between all three of those girls, if that is the direction they indeed go. And but first, I want to take some time out. Obviously, we have about 118 people on the stream right now, so I appreciate all y'all right now tapped in to watch the first wrestling stream show with me and Chris, talk about Monday Night Raw Go Home show tonight. If you guys could be ever so kind, you can subscribe to either me, Chris, both of us, probably. Brycey2K over here. Chris, let them know where they can subscribe if they're not watching us on YouTube.
Hey man, if you're not watching on YouTube, definitely catch us on Twitter. I almost called it X. I don't call it X, but on Twitter, I said at A1 Forever. Hey man, everything is really I try to keep everything around A1 Forever. But yeah, if you're watching on TikTok, I should be on TikTok, but like I said, Twitter, definitely A1 Forever, YouTube, A1 Forever. If you're watching on X or Twix or whatever you want to call it, just come on over to YouTube, subscribe to A1 Forever Sports, subscribe to, to Brycey2K. Just, hey man, we appreciate y'all coming through. This is not the end of the show just yet. We're just saying we appreciate you guys.
We're giving a chance for anybody who's new. Obviously, Brycey2K across all platforms for me as well, so y'all can subscribe, follow me on X or Twitter, whatever, all across the board for sure. So like I said, just want to give that ability for y'all to kind of do that real quick before we continue on with the rest of the recap. And so we have Rhea Ripley.
Oh, well, hold on. Wait.
I'm not skipping ahead. I'm just saying. I'm just skipping ahead. That's the attention grabber. That's the attention grabber. Rhea Ripley is the next step. But
you grabbed my attention.
Exactly. But we start Raquel Rodriguez. Obviously, we know the storyline right now with the Judgment Day. Liv Morgan, sadly, out for multiple months. Probably won't be back to the Royal Rumble with that shoulder injury. So that changes the plans of whatever they're planning. I'm curious to know what direction they go on. But now they're kind of starting to tell a story. We know Raquel has had issues with Rhea, with the Queen of the Ring. She cost Rhea. Rhea then cost her. So then that feud has kind of been festering, revisiting that rivalry between the two girls. So she came out, dropped a quick thing, just said, Rhea, get out here, let's fight.
Yes.
Rhea Ripley comes out, ready to fight. Those girls go at it. You basically you depict them as two powerhouses going at it. Exactly. And it just going, and it got to a point as they were brawling, Raquel gets out a table, wants to put Rhea through a table. Rhea's able to reverse it. Looks like she's about to put Raquel through a table. That's when Roxanne Perez, and this is an interesting point of this entire segment is that with Liv gone, is WWE telling Roxanne kind of comes into everybody's moves into everybody's hearts, and everybody starts feeling her, and she comes in, helps Rhea. I mean, not helps Rhea, helps Raquel, and helps Raquel put Rhea through a table so they stand tall. And at the end of the segment, Raquel hugging Roxanne Perez. Could this, and this may be the reason why they're not taking the belts off of them. Could Roxanne fill in since she's technically a part of Judgment Day? That's going to be a question. What you think about it? What you think about the segment?
Absolutely. Honestly, first of all, give the flowers to. I was about to say pay my respect. She's not dead. I just want to say, give the flowers to Liv Morgan. Hopefully, speedy recovery. It's very unfortunate, and those things happen in wrestling. I know people say, "Oh, it's fake. It's fake." No, and people really do get hurt. Okay, and this is one of those things to where she was just going for a routine. It was routine, and went down, hurt the shoulder. And I know she had, shoulder problems before, not on that same arm. I believe it was the left arm. So, but this time it was the right arm. So, speedy recovery for Liv. But immediately when I thought about it, I was like, well, now here's a time for WWE. They could pivot, and they could, include, you didn't have to take the belt off of Raquel. What you could do is just have Roxanne step in. Now, I know that's, again, continue to push Roxanne into big moments, but I mean, she's right there, and you already was kind of having a storyline going to where Liv was honestly irritated with Roxanne.
Yeah, not trusting what's going on.
Yeah, not trusting what's going on. Like, hold on, why are you so close to Dominic? All that good stuff. So you already had that kind of stirring in the pot. Now you got a chance to really build on that storyline while Liv is gone. Then the next thing I see is Roxanne, and you seen it tonight. Of course, I think you're right. Before Roxanne comes out, Raquel's going through a table. You know what I'm saying? But instead, Roxy helps Raquel put Rhea through the table. And I think that, honestly, Raquel needed that. You know what I'm saying? She needed that pop right there. That was a good idea by WWE, and it also caters into that storyline because, thank you, Roxanne. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Now I'm standing tall over Rhea Ripley. I don't put her through the table. You know what I'm saying? I got her upset, blah, blah, blah. And now you have that opportunity to have those two possibly go into it with the whole tag team because you kind of seen it with Jade and Bianca and you know who I'm talking about, Naomi, and everything. You've seen that already with that as like a replacement. You're gonna see the same thing here, and you also, by the time Liv comes back, these two are probably gonna be like the best of friends in Raquel and Roxanne. And now you got a new storyline because Liv is back. She may come back, and people are on her side like, oh, y'all just forgot about me. Don't be surprised if Dominic Mysterio starts playing into this role too. Next thing you know, you start seeing Roxanne and Dominic together, and then I feel like Liv is going to pop up out of nowhere, and then it's when it's just all going to go to heck. So I think they hit that storyline.
Yeah, and so we just see what they do. Now afterwards, obviously Rhea Ripley goes into Adam Pearce's office, says, "I want Raquel."
Yeah,
they make a street fight official between the two, which I believe also, I think it's also in Saudi. I could be wrong. I might be wrong about that. But I know they have the match scheduled, and those two girls are going to go at it. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually give Raquel the win here. Right now, they're kind of keeping Rhea away from the main event scene just because she's been in it for so long. You always want to be weary about putting a person in that scene for too long. Just kind of have her biding her time, before, eventually, she'll be around it just because it's Rhea Ripley and you want to get her on television every week. So I'll be interested to see if they go in that direction, maybe give Raquel this, because they've had obviously with the Liv injury, they've had to rechange their plans. I think originally they said that Finn was going to turn on Dom at Night of Champions. Now they've moved the match. So clearly they're moving everything back. So they may have pivoted from Judgment Day breakup happening around that time to now with Liv out. We're just going to prologue it, tell a different story of Roxanne kind of coming in, replacing Liv in the group. And then
it's always the new guy.
Yeah. And then she comes back, and then that's when you see, and I think that actually could set up really well for Roxanne. I mean, we're probably early, but you probably could see a Liv Roxanne WrestleMania match. That could be what they could set up to.
Hey, you could see that.
I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be. They could do it on the pay-per-views before that, but I could see that setting up to that as kind of the big marquee match for those two girls for them to face off. Just because then you would have a feud that justifies it.
Right.
I think that'd be something that would be interesting.
Storytelling.
And I know a lot of people are not high on Raquel. A lot of people feel like she's kind of just there. So this will be a chance for her to kind of, without Liv, kind of show something here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I know some people are going to have a hard time buying into her. So that's going to be interesting to kind of see how they continue to move that along with her as well. And so let's get into the main event of the match.
Mm-hmm.
King of the Ring tournament final, Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso. Obviously, the story tonight, two guys, former tag team partners, former tag champions, really good friends, went to war together, facing off to get that chance to face Randy Orton at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia to try to get a chance to compete for a championship at SummerSlam. And so, obviously, two of the most popular stars in today's game, Jey Uso, you know how it is. Everybody eats.
Oh, yeah.
There's one word, you know how it goes. And then Cody Rhodes, we know what he does. Everybody loves. It's definitely one of those. This is definitely one of those matches that as a fan, you try to have a lot of fun with, just because of those two.
Two baby faces.
Exactly. But overall, I think they had a pretty solid match tonight. I think they kind of tried to excel it as a big match feel, which they really haven't faced one-on-one since Jay was in the bloodline like that. So I mean, I think they started off like, filling each other out, almost like we know each other. We're friends. We know what each other does. And I think it picked up slowly as the match is like, you saw the rise of the match.
Yes.
And I think it ended up on a really good note. What you think about it?
Hey, first of all, another case of two world-class athletes, I'm saying, that two former friends, like the whole storyline and the promo is excellent because you had, and, I love how they, brought it in about, it started a week before when, Cody and Jay's in the ring. And real quick, boy, does Jey Uso have the crowd, or does Jey Uso have the crowd? That whole let's run it back, baby. Let's run it back, man. He really has the crowd. And it's like, regardless of how you feel about in the ring, he has that aura. He just has it. He has the people. And once you have the people, it's just like the people are going to want you. I mean, that's another reason why you got, Ron Killings back. But it's just like, when the people really are behind you, the people are really behind you. And the people are behind Jay. But and of course, people are behind Cody. And again, you have two guys that finished their story, two former world champions, two great friends, in and out the ring. So you just you look at it, bro. Great match. That actually, the build up and everything like that, you knew what they knew what they were doing. And the finish to it with Cody off the top rope with the Cody cutter.
Yeah, sir. He was spamming that Cody cutter tonight.
Yeah, man. So he did that one, and then got him up and hit him with the crossroads for the finish. I feel like it was an excellent finish. I feel like it had to have, like, whoever won the match, it had to have like a big finish, and that was off the top rope. I said crossroads. I actually loved it. And let's just be honest, though, Bryce. I feel like the better storyline here, of course, is him versus Randy Orton. Legacy, coming full circle here. Finals between the two for the opportunity at possibly facing John Cena. Man, this is going to be a huge match. Definitely wouldn't be mad if this is like the main event at the pay-per-view. But I know they have other matches as well that they can go there, but still, it's going to be a huge match between a guy who I believe is a first ballot, a guy who's my personal GOAT, and I believe I'm talking about Randy Orton. I'm saying 3 letters, 1 move. Yes, sir. So, yeah, man. So, man, of course, I'm going to be pulling for Randy in this match, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it's Cody because, Randy has put over some guys, as well. over the years. I think the biggest surprise for me was Jinder Mahal, but I understood. I didn't understand that then,
So
but I
Monday
understand it.
Maharaja. What a
Yeah,
time. What a
yeah,
time, man.
what a time. but but yeah, though. Outside of that, though, yeah, man, we know Randy's a good guy, great in ring performer. So that's going to be a great match between those two. Those guys are going to put on a barn burner. So everybody needs to get ready for that. And
Yeah, they're obviously gonna play that up too. So
right,
listen, I'm just glad, especially with some people saying Jay's not a great wrestler. They put on a banger tonight.
it
They
did.
tore the house down in Columbus, Ohio, which I thought was a good crowd tonight.
Yes,
And like I said, you saw after the match, it was all respect. Hey,
right.
you good, you good. You know what I'm saying? Everything like that, just kind of showing that friendship on screen for everybody as they've had a lot of fun times together. Still remember the press conference when they were both drunk together at the press.
Yes,
They've
yeah.
had some times together, man, for sure. But really, really good stuff from those two tonight. It'll be interesting to see where they go with Jay. I know people have kind of been talking about they're thinking about maybe putting him back with Jimmy Uso at some point for another tag team run because it seems like the main event singles competitor run is going to come to an end at some point.
Right.
Just because, but I also think the Usos want to do that again, just one more run as a tag. They said they don't have that many years left wrestling, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just want to do one more run like that. Obviously, coming
Right.
from two different roads, two different directions as competitors now, since they're both single competitors on both brands. And then going to the match with Orton. I mean, I think it's pretty, to me, I think it's pretty easy to know Cody's winning just because I think that's their path to just getting him and Cena a second match at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I think, he's been feuding with Cena. I mean, listen, that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I get it, bro.
I'm,
I get the game, man.
so I'm curious to see how it goes, though, how we get there. Obviously, if he wins, they'll have it, but I'm curious to know if CM Punk could potentially be involved in that because something tells me there's a chance they might do a clean finish between him and Punk, just because like Randy, they kind of boosted that up as like the last time ever.
Yeah.
We don't know, but they boosted it up like that. Where CM Punk, they haven't said that. They haven't said this the last time these guys are facing. So you could definitely see maybe multiple matches with them. And then obviously they would have a second match with Cody because everybody's trying to figure out who's going to take the belt off Cena or, before he leaves. So I think that is something that
I'm sorry. I want Mr. 15-time world champion, but of course I don't.
I completely get it. There's going to be
I don't run the company, but
there's some people who don't want that for sure. I get it. Trust me, I definitely
do. Man. But we just said, I definitely believe that Cody's going over, and you're gonna have that rematch between him and Cena because when you think about how he even lost the belt to Cena, it was just like, come on, why you do Cody like that?
People are not happy about how that went down.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously wasn't great.
It wasn't.
I mean that's kind of how things go.
Still don't understand what Travis Scott had going on, but at the end of the day, it was bad all from the start. The whole thing with busting Cody's eardrum or something like that. It just was terrible from the start. And I said Travis does a lot of great things. So of course in the music industry, I said I don't have a problem with they bringing in people from the outside. I said into it be entertaining. We've seen Trey Young, so it's just like it's entertaining and stuff, but yeah, that was just a disaster from the beginning. And then the whole thing, him coming out, and it'd be the aura for me. I'd be like, bro, just get to the ring. but again, hey, it is what it is, man. But yeah, Cody, I think Cody's going over, bro. And hey, again, it'll be full circle with the whole legacy thing. Like I said, it's long-term storytelling, similar with Punk and Cena. With the whole role reversal thing and stuff like that, which excellent promo by Cena. I don't care what nobody says. That is probably like the promo of the year right now. With John Cena doing the role reversal with the pipe bomb against CM Punk as he put him through the table. It was beautiful. I love the long-term storytelling. That was a great idea, WWE. Of course, and who else to do it but a guy who was a master on the mic himself. The old school doctor of thugonomics, John Cena, right there. So I enjoyed that promo, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out there as well. But yeah, man, great Raw. You know what I'm saying? Waiting to see what NXT is going to look like. And of course, Friday Night SmackDown before the Saudi Arabia Night of Champions.
Yeah, they're gonna be Saudi Friday, so they'll probably be pre-taped. I think. So I think they would go. I think they wrestled there at our time, like 1 p.m. So if we had Netflix internationally, if you got VPN, you can watch it live.
Right.
But if not, we would have to wait till 8 o'clock Eastern time for us to watch it.
Right.
Also, they said Raw next week. It will start at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
6 p.m. show. So it'll be a little bit earlier. Some people may be still getting home from work from traffic.
Right. Because it's in Pittsburgh, right? I think it's going to be in Pittsburgh.
I have no idea where they are next week.
Right. Yeah.
I just pay attention to the time. Whatever they did, they clearly said we just need to do this earlier. Or maybe something's going on. They're like, hey, can y'all do this a little bit earlier? Whatever. So like, all right, yeah, we got you. But yeah, I think it was a good Raw tonight. I think nothing special, but solid advanced storylines, advanced matches going into the go home show for the card in Saudi Arabia for a Night of Champions. And we just got to see, like I said, NXT obviously is kind of trying to build up towards Evolution and their pay-per-view a week or two after. We'll see what we get. So it'll be next month for the Great American Bash. And we'll see what the go home angle looks like Friday for these guys. I'm sure we're going to get one last Punk and Cena face off. Maybe you have the King of the Ring finalists face off, Queen of the Ring finalists face off. Tiffany Stratton, I think, has a title match this Friday against Nia Jax.
Oh yeah, Nia Jax.
Yep. So they have that going.
Be interesting because Naomi's lurking with that briefcase and
got the money in the
bank. Like Nia's like, no, I'm not gonna let you do it. So it's just like I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how it goes, man. But you got any final thoughts, man, before we sign off?
Hey man, actually I enjoyed this show, man, and hopefully everybody that watched it enjoyed us as well. Late night chat, I'm saying it is 12:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. But hey, I'm glad that you guys, if you're still with us, and I'm hoping that means you enjoyed it. This is just me and Bryce, man. We were just kind of just putting some stuff together. We've been talking about it for a few weeks, but of course, schedules. We both work jobs, okay? We work jobs. So it's just so we just got to get the schedules down and everything. And I'm absolutely happy that we was able to get this Raw review in. Great review, I believe. We had some great insight, I believe, as well. So, hey, man, I'm looking forward to possibly doing this again, real soon. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, man. Try to get this more consistent. Obviously, if you guys enjoyed it, let us know. Leave a comment down below. Any thoughts that you guys had about what happened tonight, and just what you may think happens in the future. SmackDown at Night of Champions, and then trying to go from there. So, really appreciate you guys just tuning in, letting us be a part of your day, and talking some wrestling. Maybe get more in touch with the wrestling community that's out there, because I know some of y'all listen, wrestling fans, man, they pop out. Sometimes they don't show it, but there are people who be like, oh, I know what's going on, and if we can bring you in and we can talk about it and expand. Never know. Some other people are going to be on here with us, maybe talk about it, and we like that. We love that. Hopefully more you do it, get more interactive as well. So all those things, it could be things that just we continue to grow the show from that point. Obviously, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Once again, if you are watching this, wherever you're watching this, follow me on Twitter, Bricey_2K, BRICEY_2K. If you are not watching this on YouTube, or if you can, go subscribe. Chris, let them know where to find you.
Hey, man. What? Okay, yeah. A few platforms I'm on. Instagram, A1 Forever. Twitter, A1 Forever. The Real A1 Forever on TikTok. Also, of course, A1 Forever Sports. That's the platform on YouTube. Please come over, like, comment, and subscribe, man. Of course, over there, Hawks, Braves, Falcons, I guess wrestling and everything. But hey, man, you just never know. It's called A1 Forever Sports, though, not anything just in particular. So you can never know what you're going to get over here. But that's why you just got to make sure you got that notification bell handy, and make sure you guys have found your piece today. positive energy always creates elevation. Come on back, you know, and holler at me and my boy Bryce, man. We're definitely. I think we may have something started up here. We'll see what happens, but of course, it's all up to the people. Just like in wrestling, it's always up to the people for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm dead. Yes, sir.
yeah, so again, enjoyed this, man. Oh, and also the Hawks Digest as well. To catch me on the Hawks Digest, just dropped the video over there talking about our GM and his press conference, Mr. Anzi Saleh. It's what I'm being told, so I'm just making sure I get his name right. Saleh. So definitely almost like filet, but you know.
Nah, I got you. Yeah, man. Definitely check that out, man. Some good stuff over there that Chris be doing. Obviously, if this is your first time channel, first time seeing me, I do believe in Hawks, Atlanta Hawks podcast as well, and Atlanta Falcons content as well. So we have that coming out. Obviously, NBA draft this week, and obviously we get closer to camp. So if you guys have any interest in that as well, I do post that. But you know, we might start mixing wrestling in, so we might bring in a new audience. So hey, you never know, man. But like I said, I appreciate you guys tuning in.
I would just want to, just because you had the question earlier, yes, they did add Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez to Night of Champions.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to confirm. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So yes, we will be on the Night of Champions.
We have that confirmed.
So everybody will be wearing full body suits out in Saudi Arabia. They say no skin. That is a sin in this area, in this region. But it is what it is, man. So you know, we're gonna probably play some A-Rab money afterwards.
Right.
We gonna do what we can. That is a hilarious song now that you think about it nowadays. But yeah, so like I said, guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. That's Chris. I'm Bryce. See you next time.
Peace.